Have you ever had a moment that really shook your world? A moment that caused you to see things differently? A moment when you realized that there was more going on in life than you had been willing or able to take in? Have you ever had a moment when you realized that there were other stories besides your own? And in fact, you could become a more fully realized person if you stopped and listened to someone else's story. And remarkably, when you did so, you realized that despite how different their experience was from yours, how different their voice might be, their story and your story were one and the same. Rachel Noemi Ryman writes, "Hidden in all the stories is the one story. The more we listen, the clearer that story becomes. Our true identity, who we are, why we are here, what sustains us, is in this story. In telling it, we are telling each other the human story." We come to this church. We are part of this Unitarian Universalist faith because we want to help one another to listen more fully to the stories that need to be told and to hear that one human story we all share. We're here, I believe, because we yearn to widen our circles of affection, to stretch the boundaries of our heart. 2 months ago, I heard some stories that did just that. In late September, I received an email from the Massachusetts Interfaith Committee for Worker Justice. They're an organization that mobilizes people of faith in support of economic justice and worker rights. They wondered if I would speak at a press conference in support of the members of SEIU Local 615, the janitors union. See, the 14,000 janitors of New England were in the midst of difficult contract negotiations with cleaning companies. Negotiations were not going well, and their current contract was about to expire. A strike was imminent. It was hoped that the public support of religious leaders would aid the janitors and their simple request for fair wages, access to full-time work, and the possibility of health care for their families. Sure, I thought. My calendar was free that Friday morning. I could write and read a statement in support of their cause. I got up early, drove into the city, parked my car, walked into Old South Church in Copley Square, where the press conference was being held. I went there to support a cause, justice. But what I found there was very, very different than a cause. What I found, what I discovered, who I met, were people. Before the press conference, before the cameras rolled, we were invited to take a seat in a circle of chairs. There were some high-profile clergy members there, and there were some like me who were not so high-profile but well-intentioned. And then there was the negotiating team for the janitors. Most of them women, most of them immigrants, most of them speaking Spanish as their native tongue. Into our circle, they spoke their stories, the reality of their lives. Listening to these women and men shook my world. Listening to their stories, I was deeply moved, and I felt ashamed. When we live in the comfortable suburbs, it's so easy for us to say, we stand for justice. As Unitarian Universalists, it's so easy for us to say we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. But most of us just say the words and then go back to our comfortable, convenient lives. Most of us don't go out and shake up the world to make justice a reality. And please hear this. I'm not speaking this in judgment. I speak it in honesty, and I put myself at the head of the list of those who talk much more than do. Many of us in this church live quite privileged lives. And I also know that some of us don't. Some of us are barely scraping by. Some of us cobble together multiple jobs to make ends meet. Others of us are still searching for work. Some of us live on disability payments. Some of us don't know if we'll be able to pay the rent next month or have enough for food or buy gifts for the holidays. But there are a lot of us here who are fairly comfortable. When we are comfortable, it is easy to avoid seeing and hearing those who are not. That Friday morning in September, I could not avoid it. I saw real people. I heard human stories that spoke of struggle. These women and men talked about coming to this country so full of hope and expectation. They talked about how hard it was to obtain work that paid a living wage. The work they finally found was in the cleaning industry. These women and men clean out our bathrooms and tidy up our offices. They make the businesses of Boston, of Lynn, of Lawrence, of Reading clean and presentable. And they do this with such pride in their work. But they barely get by. One middle-aged woman from the Dominican Republic told how she never saw her kids because she was up and out before dawn to clean at one part-time job, cleaned at another office in the afternoon, and then cleaned late at night at yet another part-time job. The different companies kept her at part-time so they didn't have to provide her with benefits. She didn't see her kids so that a corporation could make a few more bucks. What was most troubling was how disrespected these hard-working janitors felt. How at the negotiating table, when they simply asked for decency, for a living wage, and the chance for full-time employment, they were treated so dismissively. Sylvia Clarke, a member of the negotiating team who is with us here today, said, "They look at us as if we are the same as the garbage we clean from their wastebaskets." That statement has haunted me every day since I heard it. If we listen, we can find similar stories across the working world. This weekend, I talked to a postdoctoral student with 11 years of advanced education. Francis was looking to finally begin teaching as a college professor. He was offered a full-time job teaching 5 classes at the salary of $14,000 a year with no health insurance. This is a full-time work at a major teaching institution in Boston. As we move into this holiday season, the season of plenty for many of us, are we willing to see those who have been pushed to the fringes, to the margins? Even as we listen to stories about the babe in the manger, stories about the miracle of light in the Jewish temple, stories about the return of the sun at solstice, stories of reindeers with red noses and magical snowmen who begin to dance around, will we also be willing to hear other stories, hard stories, Our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to move beyond the lights and tinsel and gift-giving. Our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to look for those who are being left out or forgotten. Our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to ask, why is this happening? It calls us to name systems and practices that oppress. It calls us to do something about them, not to provide charity, not to provide a handout, but to create change, to become the change, to become partners with those who are out there doing the hard work of change, to become part of those who are shaking the world. In this spirit, it is my great honor to introduce to you Sylvia Clarke, a member of the Janitors Union. Sylvia was one of the negotiators who stood up against a system that tried to crush her and her compatriots. She's part of the team that won a significant victory.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I am Sylvia Clarke, and I'm honored to be invited here in the name of Local 615 at Boston Janitors. The more important word is solidarity. I don't know if I pronounce it good. I'm going to share a little bit of my story. I came from Panama, far from here, thinking that when I reached here, everything was perfect. Panama is a little small country into Costa Rica and Colombia, very small. You don't see it a lot. And we have a normal life struggling over there, and I come here and I say, education. I wasn't thinking that the language was going to be a problem, but it did. So looking for job and experience here, I end up cleaning toilet, office, houses them, proud of what I was doing. We start working here. We come with a lot of ambition, views, and things that we think is just as our country. But we start working for big, large companies that don't see us. We clean when nobody's there, so for them we are invisible. They give us 3.5 hours of job that you have to do they charge the company 8 hours or more, and they pay us for 3.5. So it's very stressful. You don't imagine you have to be running up and down and try to do the best job that the customer pay for and deserve. We was actually in this bargain struggling to let the company see us as people and analyze that we wasn't looking just for a wage. Number one was health care, because nobody chooses to get sick. And in this country, if you don't have it, you can't make it. When you go to emergency, the first thing they want to know, who's going to pay? And they're right, because it's a service. So when we were sitting at this bargain, we was fighting our life. And if it wasn't for all of the support and solidarity that we had from all of the religion, and that was for me, I never, ever see so many people as faith get together, different faith, to solidarity with us. And the press and the media and everybody help us, and they give us life. The public see us, and the company that was always trying to hide us had to sit at that table and realize that we was people, decent people, that we deserve to be listened. I'm sorry. At that bargain, they laugh. When we speaking or talking, they wasn't listening, because they went just with one thing in the head. They're just the cleaning people. They are not important. But the God I know, He don't make exception a person. The color, the culture, your status that you belong to, He sees us as people of faith. And when we was in that bargain, I was like, say, this is people that I was thinking I was happy to sit in front of, to let them know our real story, because they never see us. But they wasn't interested in listening to our stories. Most of us have to have 2 and 3 part-time, because they don't pay us enough hours, so we can be able to qualify for the union pensions. I myself was making 1750 hours, and I asked the company, for half an hour more. But they just add more toilet, more bathroom, and we was about to lose everything. Thank God that we get the solidarity of all of the people who we asked for, and thank God we get, number one, healthcare, good wage, and the possibility in different areas of full-time. And if it wasn't be for that, because Local 615 that I'm proud to be part of, have so many stories like my own. My family depends on me. We are 4 living together with my husband, 5, and everybody doing the best. And when the end of the month comes, the money is not enough. And we don't want to be part of like people that just want to take from the states or the country. We want to do something. That's why I say I'm proud that we clean. We do whatever they have to take, and we're proud because we helping. Because when you don't have things clean, sickness come, and everybody could get their lives changed. So when we were struggling that September, every day I asked God, give me strength, because it was many days. And when we sit there and we go back home, we was like, this is the end of it. But I say to my coworkers, we never give up hope. There is hope every day. If we get together, if we fight together, if we keep together, we will respect, we will be noticed, they will see us. It's not about winning, it's about fighting, never ever give up. My coworkers say, Sylvia, you know what? You know, in our job, because you hear when you go back, they're going to do this. I said, they can't continue doing it to me, and maybe I will be there tomorrow, but somebody will be there doing the fight. Because all what we have in life, all what we have, is because someone before did that fight. So we never know, don't care how it look. We must always keep hope there. And as I say, Local 615 has so many stories. So many stories that real people, real life, we have 2, 3, 4 part-time, and we're proud of doing what we do. And we would like to have more people like you guys that was there for us. We went back that Friday, strong as ever. And I say to my coworkers, you know, I couldn't believe, so different. And they say, you crazy. And I start explaining to them. I say, well, we was all together there. And so we have more people out there supporting us and what we can see. Now we are alive. We have a face. We have all of these people helping us. So you know what? We're going to win. And thank God we made it. We win. And we was there so happy. And I don't have enough word to say thank you guys all for your support, your prayers. And we will be there for everyone that was helping us. So today when I'm here, I'm not only behalf of Sylvia Clarke, on behalf of the 4,000 proud members of Local 615. Thank you guys all, and my Lord will bless each one. Thank you.